Before Nico Williams sprinted down the turf of the Olympiastadion Berlin, tearing apart the Italian defense with every touch, there had been a much fiercer escape across the blistering Sahara Desert. His parents wore no shoes, carried no papers. Only a single belief burned in their hearts, that beyond the Mediterranean lay a life more worthy of living. Nico's mother was 7 months pregnant with their eldest son, Iñaki, as they crossed half a continent under the merciless 50-degree-Celsius sun to reach Melilla, a tiny piece of Spanish land on African soil. They were caught. No papers, no nationality. Only one option left: to tear up their Ghanaian documents and claim to be Liberian in order to apply for asylum. By some grace, a Caritas lawyer believed their story. They were allowed to stay, starting from scratch in the Basque country. A local priest helped them so much that he became the godfather of Iñaki and inspired the boy's name, Iñaki Williams. When Nico was born, he arrived into a peace his parents had risked everything for. He would also run like them, but not across borders under the sun's wrath. He would chase a football, across green grass, with defenders as his only obstacle. Spain had long lost the feeling of breaking free, not because their tactics were outdated, not for a lack of patterns or passing schemes, but simply because they no longer had players who could sow chaos. After the golden generation built around Barcelona's DNA, La Roja grew too gentle. They passed, controlled, and dominated possession, only to quietly bow out of major tournaments from Euro 2016 to the 2022 World Cup. What they lacked was something tiki-taka could never teach: rawness, a disruptor, a spark. And then came Nico Williams. At the 2022 World Cup, Spain were suffocated by Morocco. Luis Enrique, running out of ideas, tossed in the young winger from Athletic Club. A desperate move. No one expected much. Few even noticed his entry. But the moment Nico stepped onto the pitch, something shifted. If only he had started, murmured Spanish fans after the loss. Maybe it was wishful thinking, but it planted a seed. Nico wasn't just another promising talent. He felt like a suggestion that maybe, just maybe, Spain needed to reboot through carefully controlled rebellion. And that's exactly what happened at Euro 2024. I'm borrowing Spain's story to talk about Barcelona, because something about that moment, when Nico was let loose, seemed to jolt both La Roja and Barça into awakening. They realized they needed difference makers. Players who bend rules, not just follow diagrams. Ironically, romantic football is making a return, not through classic tiki-taka, but through a new blend of instinct, speed, and spontaneity, embodied by two wild cards, Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams. But again, while I'm speaking of Spain, what I'm really talking about is Barcelona. La Roja's transformation reflects what Barça are trying to reclaim. Gone are the days when a system alone could bring glory. Barça now survive on inspiration, and in this team, Lamine Yamal is the heartbeat, the origin of every attack. This past season, he dominated the right flank with fearless dribbles and, most notably, cross-field switches, a weapon that unlocked the best season of Rafinha's career. But with that came over-reliance. When Yamal was neutralized, Barca's entire attack stalled. They needed a second source of chaos, and thus began the search for a left-sided Lamine Yamal. That search led to Nico Williams. It felt like the answer had been there all along. Barca just needed the courage to choose it. Two players, both of African roots, yet schooled in Spanish football. A fusion of instinct and discipline, of chaos and order. Their unpredictability has transformed Spain, once the sleepiest side in Europe, into its most electric team. And Barcelona are next. Once a symbol of control, Barca are now shifting toward pace and spontaneity. And so, Nico is not just a tactical addition. He's the missing puzzle piece in Barca's offensive overhaul. Since Neymar, Barca have scrambled to find a true left winger, someone to stretch the pitch and terrorize the flank. They tried Coutinho, Griezmann, Dembélé, even Ansu Fati. None truly fit. Nico is different. He is a natural left winger, a rare gem in today's football. His arrival also reshapes the entire left corridor, not just in attack, but in defense. Alejandro Balde, who often had to push high to provide width, left gaping holes behind. Every lost ball risked a counter down that side. Nico changes that. By hugging the touchline high up, Balde can sit deeper and help balance the transitions. This fits perfectly with Hansi Flick's blueprint, a coach who demands pressing structures without compromising defensive shape. In Flick's favored 4-2-3-1, Nico on the left, Lamine, Yamal on the right, two wide men stretching the field like a pincer movement. In between, the number 10 becomes the wild card, and that's where Rafinha's story takes a twist. After thriving on the left last season, he now faces competition in the central role from Dani Olmo and Fermin Lopez. Flick doesn't want all three wingers on the pitch. He wants rotational clarity, strategic discipline. Nico's flexibility allows exactly that. Though left-sided by nature, he's played on the right before, enabling scenarios like Nico, Yamal, Lewandowski, Rafinha, Nico, Yamal, or even Nico, Rafinha, Ferran. No matter the combo, the front line never loses its pace or pressing firepower. A fluid attack, but with solid structure, just what Flick wants. Youthful energy with tactical balance. But tactics only go so far. Football is built on people, the intangible bonds that shape every great locker room. And Nico Williams isn't walking into a strange dressing room. He's joining friends, Yamal, Gavi, Pedri, Balde, Dani Olmo, a generation growing together, not just teammates, but companions on a shared journey to reclaim Barca's soul. There's a sense now that the youth are taking over. No more dominant egos like Messi or Piqué. Only energy, unity, willingness to fight for each other. Nico doesn't need to prove himself. He just needs to grow together with the team. And that's when this move transcends tactics. It becomes a statement. Barca are rebuilding, not with cash or Galactico splashes, but with a carefully constructed identity. Young, dynamic, purpose-driven. Nico's arrival echoes symbolic signings like Thierry Henry in 2007 or Griezmann in 2020. But here's the difference. Henry and Griezmann came to complement existing squads. Nico comes to help build one. This feels more grounded, more deliberate, not a thunderous headline, but a carefully placed cornerstone. If this works, Lamine and Nico won't just be tactical solutions. They'll be a brand. On one side, La Masia's genius and flair. On the other, Bilbao's explosiveness and instinct. Two flanks, two styles, one shared purpose. To make Barcelona the most thrilling team in Europe again. When both are flying, one dancing past defenders, the other burning down the line, and all of it stitched together in Flick's modern pressing machine. Then, and only then, Barcelona will be back.